All right, guys. So if you don't know me, there may be a few people. Hey, Gina. Hey, Kevin. Super excited to see Don. Yay. Analia, welcome. We got some new people in the house. Leanne Lyon. Oh my gosh. My Minnesota peeps. I know you guys got your first snowfall today, so I just have to give that shout out. I heard about it through the grapevine. I'm going to go over some housekeeping items and what to expect. Someone already asked a really valuable question, and I just want to reiterate. Make sure you guys, if you have questions along the way moving forward, I probably will not see them in the chat because I encourage you guys to chat it up. This is interactive, not necessarily networking. Hey, Vanessa, good to see you. This is a time for you to go deep. This is a time for you to learn and possibly be open to a transformational shift in this power hour. So my goal is to keep it to an hour. The actual final duration is going to depend a little bit on you guys. So what we're focused on today, and this is the first time I've ever taught this content in this manner, focusing on my two passions, superconscious creation and then the 12-week year, which is a certification I've had for over 3 years now, helping you prepare for 2023. The goal is for me to present 50-ish minutes, give or take, with some Q&A at the end. So take notes, hold your questions till the end. I will not look at the Q&A feature until probably close to the 50-ish minute mark. So then beyond that, it depends on you how Harish had asked that question. It may go an hour, it could go a little bit longer. There is a prize if you stay till the end. Most of you know my prize are the slides, so I'm just gonna, spoiler alert, it is the slides, but you gotta do something, you gotta stay till the very end to know what, and there's a deadline as well, so make sure you stay till the end. And be distraction free, no book surfing, no LinkedIn surfing, really be present in this power hour because it can really actually leave a new idea. An open mind leaves a chance for someone to drop a worthwhile thought in it by Mark Twain. And so I really ask you to, if you're driving, please be safe. Hopefully you have your notebook and take notes. Let's first set an intention for why you are here. And I'd love for you to share in the chat so other people can kind of get to know you. And I'll read the notes later. I may not see now, but let's go ahead. Type in the chat what inspired you to be here. What inspired you to be here? What's your intention? Because I don't take for granted that you guys are here right now. I know time is your unrenewable asset. You can't get this hour back. So let's make it really powerful together. Shall we? Let's co-create something together. Energy flows where intention goes. You create your life. That's a lot of what we're going to talk about today. And if you don't like it, you can change it. But I find the biggest shift I had this year was by setting intentions. So type in the chat, what is your intention for being here? Awesome. Have a great 2023. Quit sitting on the sidelines. Beautiful. Keep typing in the chat. While you guys are typing and sharing your brilliance in the chat, I'm going to launch my first poll. I want to get an idea. Some of you may have come because you've read one of these two books. So this is the first question. Like I said, there's some participation here. I want you to vote. Just so I know, how many of you read the book You're Not Broken by Christopher Michael Duncan or the 12-week year? Just so I get an idea. I'd love to see as many of you participate in the poll and vote, just so I have an idea. Some of you may have come because of one of these books also. So if you want to type that in the chat, feel free to type that in the chat. So far we have a good majority of you, 2/3 of you have not read the book You're Not Broken by Christopher Michael Duncan. I will be referencing that book later. And then of course the 12-week year is a big part of why we're here. Okay, cool. So about half of you haven't read the book, The 12-Week Year. For sake of time, thanks guys for voting. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, sharing the results so you kind of know where you guys are at, since I love to build community. So you guys know you're not alone. You kind of have similar interests as well. And now what I would like to do is I'm going to ask you another question. This has to do with the content today. So I kind of get to know the audience. I love to support you guys and meet you where you're at. So what is your number one area of improvement that you want to finish strong for 2022 and you want to kick off the new year in 2023? So go ahead. I just shared this poll. You guys should see it. So there's two questions. Number one, what is your number one area of improvement? And number two, what is your number one belief that may be holding you back from that area of improvement? I'll give you about 30 more seconds to vote. So if you guys read it, the areas, health and vitality, magnetizing more than enough money and abundance, you living your true nature and purpose daily. That was my number one this year. My number two is improve health and vitality. Happy and connected family. You could also say that could be for relationships. And then the second one, what do you believe is your number one belief holding you back? I'm not enough is the clear winner, and magnetizing. So I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to share the results with you guys. So this is, just so you guys know, the community that showed up today, knowing that you are not alone, that there are other people with similar interests as well as similar goals and limiting beliefs. So I hope that was helpful, just so you guys also know that that's a lot of what we're going to cover today. So let's go ahead and dive right in. My intention is to inspire you in ways that maybe you haven't been before and create a superconscious 12-week year plan of action, at least start it on paper. So please make sure you have your notebook. Just in case you don't know me very well, you'll get to learn more about me over the course of the next few slides. But I grew up on a farm in Iowa. I love the farming philosophy of Jim Rohn, planting seeds, watering them, tilling them, seeing the harvest come in. I am a 12-week year certified trainer. We'll get to more of that later. I have two beautiful children, Desiree and Henry, and that's my husband, and our favorite Halloween costumes from a few years back. So really quickly, the 12-week year helped me pivot in the pandemic. The 12-week year was something also that I've been using since 2016. When I read it for the first time, I got certified as a trainer. If you haven't read the book, the main premise is how to create more results in 12 weeks than the average person does in 12 months. It debunks the New Year's resolutions, which we all pretty much know that they don't work, right? Because it's based on annualized thinking. So when the pandemic hit, I didn't have an email list. I didn't have a podcast. I really had a love-hate relationship with social media. I had never done webinars ever in my life. I was terrified of them and terrified of having a podcast, but I knew I wanted to make an impact. I knew my family needed me to make an income. We live in Southern California, so hello. And I was able to go from zero to hero in 3 12-week years, getting to multiple 5 figures, so on and so forth. And I also had been using it as a student before being a trainer since 2016. Helped me in my network marketing business at the time, helped me reach health goals, so on and so forth. So the key though is this year, I discovered while the 12-week year by itself is really cool and I love it and I still use it and still coach on it, after coaching 20,000 people in the past 23 years in health, fitness, sales, business, and talking to thousands of people in the pandemic, everyone wanted the tactics, the systems, and the plan kind of given to them, almost like done for them, told to them. A lot of us, including myself, were stuck in the old school mindset track of looking outside ourselves for answers, looking for those external validations through coaches, classes, all of these things. Again, not bad. However, I know for me, that stuff started to not work. I'll tell you candidly, and many of you have heard my story, even though I was able to use the 12-week year to create a lot of results, I got to $20,000 to $40,000 a month, but my marriage was on the rocks. I was really disconnected from my kids, basically a workaholic. 30 pounds heavier than I wanted. And I was even trying dieting, which if you know me, I've coached 20,000 people, right? So I knew what worked and what wouldn't work, but I was desperate. My clients were doing okay, but many were having those similar things, right? Struggles is I'll be happy when I get to $10,000 months, or I'll be happy when I'm debt free, or I'll be happy when my course sells. I was binge drinking multiple times a week, depressed and feeling shame around that. I felt numb and dead inside, struggling with a lot of grief, but not wanting to face it. Coaches, therapists, and courses and books were not working for me anymore. And I was like, how could I be the change I wanted to see? How could I have it all, right? How could I be healthy and wealthy and wise? So I thought of buying more courses, hiring a therapist, reading more books, like Think and Grow Rich for the 5,000th time, partner with more people, do more, right? I felt I had to do more, sign up for more stuff. But none of that worked to change my external world. And Confucius said, remember, no matter where you go, there you are, right? So I remembered, I reflected a lot in 2021 and realized that I had gotten stuck in the doingness. Zig Ziglar said, you got to be before you do, before you have, right? Well, when I have this, I'll do this, I'll take that vacation, I'll do whatever, I'll take time off, and then I'll be happy, right? And I realized that was stinking thinking. That was upside down first, and it created stagnation in my life. So first, we want to help you today to be super conscious so that you do make the right decisions for you and that you can have the health and the wealth and the wisdom that you crave and that you deserve and desire. So what is more important now than ever, this is timely information. Some of you may not be privy to this, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with everything I say today. The doingness isn't going to work anymore. We are heading into the age of Aquarius, and I'm not talking about the song. I'm talking about the real thing. We're evolving. Every 2,000 years or so, the Earth moves into a new age, a new time. New age can be a little, a bit of a stigma around that. So I'm just going to say more of a new time. And people, including myself, have been awakening to a different truth. Healers are becoming more powerful. People are uncovering gifts, psychic gifts. Even the Vatican was talking about that a few years ago and developing them at a super fast rate. People want to earn money in a meaningful way, not just a side hustle to make money for the sake of money. People are willing to not compromise in love. They want that soulmate connection. And then it's also more difficult to conform, having to find a way to live that allows your uniqueness, your light, to shine. You, and I'm talking all of you and myself included, have something unique to offer to the world. And a lot of times we're afraid to shine our light. Is anybody with me? Type in the chat if you're afraid at times to shine your light, to speak your truth, to be seen, be heard for your passion and your purpose. Don't be shy. Type in the chat if you've ever been afraid of that. Marianne Williams said, it's not the darkness really that scares us, it's the light, right? So over the last 12 months, I focused on the beingness. I focused on being, then doing, then having, and it radically changed my life. My marriage is the best ever. My husband and I are actually going into business together. We're making money in the flow, working much less, and having more fun and ease and spaciousness. I'm deeply connected with my children. I lost 30 pounds without dieting. Clients are having massive breakthroughs. I changed my relationship with alcohol and food in alignment with my true health. I changed my relationship with grief, no longer feeling numb. I'm my highest and best version of myself, trusting my internal wisdom and intuition on a daily basis. That's what we're going to talk about today. But I'm still on the journey, guys. I don't have all the answers. However, I do know I have much more inner peace, which has brought forth outer abundance. So the moral of the story, the inner game and the 12-week year. So the inner game and the 12-week year, how we choose to invest our time is the key to success. That's my belief and what I'm now having huge shifts around. It's no longer a think and grow rich model. So we're going to do a little bit of shadow work today. I believe all of us have been through a journey. The strongest people I've met have not been given an easier life. They've learned to create strength and happiness from dark places. And what I did a lot of this past year was that shadow work and learning to trust myself and going inward to get those, shadow work done wasn't easy, but oh my gosh, it changed my external results because as within, so without. What you have going on inside of you is reflected in the world. Today, I want to help you dig for gold and help you start the process of slaying that dragon. I love this quote. One of the recurring core truths I witness about the human psyche is that those who face the darkest parts of their life with courage, loving acceptance, and surrender always experience a massive blossoming in their life after. So confront the dragon, get the gold. Confront the dragon and get the gold. How many of you guys would like to confront the dragon and as a result receive gold? Go ahead, type that in the chat. Let me hear you. Okay. So my vision is to help 1,000 people be and become super conscious creators, leveraging the 12-week year in their best health and wealth and wisdom in 2023. So that's my vision. Now, how many of you would like to create more in less time? Throw away New Year's resolutions, and between now and the end of 2023, manifest your best health and your wealth. Type in the chat if that's you. Also, think about this question. How many of you would like more spaciousness and ease in your life? Type in the chat if you would like more spacious. Hey, Pat, good to see you. Robin, good to see you. I'm just occasionally looking at the chat. Okay, cool. So let's roll up our sleeves together, guys. And realizing today, as of today, we have 47 days left in 2022. So why wait till January 1st? Today is a new clean slate. Today is a Monday. Today is November 14th, 2022. So I got certified with this process to help you be able to be more effective. Again, be, do, have. If you come from a different beingness and you think in 12-year results as opposed to 12 months, it's going to change your life. So the first step, and this is where I want you guys, I'm going to actually I'm going to ask you if you're not driving, so hopefully you're not driving. I'm going to ask those of you that really want to go all in on this to think about your vision for a second. It's been said that he or she who does not have a vision will perish. This goes for your health, your wealth, your business, your relationships. So the vision is the ability to see the image or insight of how something could or should be. I don't like the word should, but this was a great image from Google. What do you want this year coming up in 2023 in your health and your wealth? And I want you to actually, let's go ahead and close our eyes for a few seconds, not very long. And I want you to think about it for a second. I'm going to give you some silence. And I want you to put your left hand on your heart because that's where your superconscious is. That's where your beingness fully resides. It's the largest brain in your body is your heart with 40,000 neurons. And ask yourself, what do I want to create in my health and my wealth? And just listen, drop into your heart and listen what you want to create. Slowly come out of that. I just wanted to give you a moment of silence so that you know that I'm indirectly coaching you. This is something you can do every day. Go ahead and write down just really, really quickly. I'm not going to give you a ton of time. Write down whatever came up for you. What do you want to create this year in health and wealth? If you want to go further out, some of you are already working with me and you know what I'm talking about when I say your perfect day. However, just remember that knowing this, what you're writing down now is going to help you set healthy boundaries and help you with your 12-week year creation. So I'm going to stop the share quick a second. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute. It's not very long. Don't worry, you'll get the recording. Go ahead and write down what you want to create in your health and your wealth. Could also be relationships, could be mental, physical, spiritual health, could be financial. Go ahead and take a few moments. 30 seconds. And also you can write down contribution, donations, anything that comes quickly top of mind. So again, this is step 1 of the 12-week year. So your homework will be, because of the sake of time, this isn't a master class. I wanted to get you started. Your homework is to completely write it out. And if you want to go bigger, 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, 10-year, in the book, in the 12-week year, they say write out 3-year, which is kind of like what they call is short-term vision, and then 10-year, which is long year. So if you want to write that down, write out your 3-year and 10-year. I'm going to have a workshop in December, just planting the seeds, where we're going to get all of this done over a 2-hour period instead of just a 1-hour period. So just letting you guys know. So your next step after you complete that is to write down your vision every day and review it. So write that down in your notes. I'm going to write down my vision and review it daily. Now, some of you guys are probably like, yeah, I've heard that before, Lois. This is nothing new. Well, here's the question. Are you implementing it? Are you implementing it? And if not, why not? Well, we're going to talk about that. So step number 1 is writing out your vision. Step number 2 inside the book does talk about, that goal setting, putting down your tactics, getting clear on those SMART goals, which I'm not going to coach on. Because actually what I learned is SMART goals also can be problematic. So I have a new way for you to focus on success. So remember when I said the Think and Grow Rich model is not going to work as well. We've been taught what you focus on expands, and I do still believe in a good gratitude practice. You could add that to your vision, is also write down what you're grateful for. Yet if you look outside of you, right, your current results are your reality in your health, your wealth, your business, your relationships. Just like I shared mine above, it was pretty gnarly. I was making tons of money, but the rest of my life was So 95% of your results reflect on what is going on inside of your subconscious and what you may not be tapping into. So your ego, your conscious mind, your monkey mind may be there, but it's really affirmations, right? Can be something we do, and we read a lot of books and we sign up for a lot of courses, but it's our subconscious. And this is a very sobering thought. Like 95% of results of the thoughts you had yesterday are the same as today, and they came from your subconscious. So here's a part of that sobering reality. Who do you know that wants time freedom but doesn't have it? Who do you know that wants more work-life balance and fun in their life but hasn't created it? Who do you know wants an easier way to attract more quality leads and sales but doesn't? Feeling overwhelmed and doing too much, working too much and not feeling fulfilled, wants to improve relationships and health and be their best self, feeling alone, maybe not focused, craving community but not knowing where to begin, wants more authentic connections in online networking, but maybe isn't attracting them fast enough. So I got the answer for that. I discovered that. Thoughts do create our actions create our results. However, we got to do something much deeper than even subconscious work. So first, I want to tap into those limiting beliefs that you guys voted on earlier. The number 1 was not enough. The number 1 was not enough. So if you want to improve in health, vitality, if you want to improve in sales, or you want to have more fulfillment in your business, what happens though if you're selling or coming from a place of not enoughness? Like for me, how that manifested is I was doing so much, working so much, and I was also drinking so much. I was trying to fill a void with my not enoughness, and I wasn't conscious of it. I was not conscious of it. Not worthy, I'm insignificant, I'm not capable or allowed to have it. That a lot of times in sales, that fear of rejection or abandonment, I had that as well. Needing to be perfect, any recovering perfectionists out there, or that feeling I don't belong. And I know we had votes on all of these. So really honoring that. And you can read more if you want to check out the book You're Not Broken by Christopher Michael Duncan. It's on the slide right now. Make sure you get the right one because there's a few books with the same name. But to be able to activate your magic, to be able to tap into your superpowers, you got to acknowledge these shadows, also known as limiting beliefs. So how do you do that in a safe way that doesn't cause you to downward spiral, go victim, so on and so forth? Well, we're going to get to that. One thing that is helpful is also acknowledging where did my, not enough and perfectionist tendencies come from. For me, I was born on a farm, but I didn't really have a mom. She was diagnosed schizophrenic. She was in and out of my life for the first 4 years, and then she officially left when my dad divorced her at age 4. So a lot of not enoughness, a lot of good girl syndrome. I was like, oop, I can't make waves. I can't speak my truth. So much so that later in life, I manifested an autoimmune disease in my throat because I thought it wasn't enough and I had to be perfect. And that really goes a long way in sales, doesn't it? You have to have the perfect landing page. You have to have everything perfect before you sell something. That's all of those are examples of self-sabotage. All of those are examples of self-sabotage. And I've teased you with this, but I have a question for you guys. I'd love for you guys to type in the chat. Do you think affirmations work to shift those limiting beliefs? Is that all you need is affirmations? What do you guys think? Type it in the chat. I don't have any poll questions. I'd love to get your thoughts on, do affirmations work? Yes, so this is my belief and my personal experience. Affirmations don't work. In fact, I actually encourage people to not go there, especially if you have a lot of trauma, a lot of triggers, a lot of subconscious stuff. We got to go deeper than that. We got to go deeper than that, because what I learned through this past year and how I was able to shift deeply is that Beyond the Script and Affirmations is real life, right? And The Body Keeps the Score is a great book. Inspiration Constipation is what, oops, I misspelled that, but it is supposed to say Inspiration Constipation. Coaches, self-help wasn't enough for me because I had so much stuff, limiting beliefs, trauma, triggers stuck in my body, that affirmations and self-help wasn't working. So I got to learn, with the help of support, I did not do any of this on my own, how to connect with my body daily through visualization. In other words, connect this brain, if you see me on the screen, this brain with this. We have 3 brains, one in our head, one in our heart, and one in our gut. I had digestive issues for decades because of my not enoughness, because of shame and other things, especially judgment. So what I discovered through this and how I got stuck in my head, because it's easy to do, and this is kind of a lot, but I hope you guys are tracking with me. Type in the chat if you're still with me. If you're tracking, type in the chat, say yes. Feel free to let me know if you're feeling a little lost, because this is deep stuff. I taught this at a college MBA course level back in 2008. So I know that this is a lot. But when Zig Ziglar talked about being and doing, this is what he was talking about. Beingness is creativity, intuition, artistic side, your creation. What are you going to create today? Feelings, they can be positive and they can be negative. And then, of course, using your imagination. Imagination. So being able to get into that brain, I was not there. I had shut that brain down because of societal experience, ancestral wounds, mother-father wound, religion wound, different wounds that had impacted me in a way that said that I perceived, full disclosure, I take full responsibility, I perceived myself as the not enough, needing to be perfect. So that's the first thing, is that understanding that I chose that. I created my results. However, it's because I was stuck in the left brain, the masculine, the doing, the analytical, the logic, the goal setting, the numbers. That's why if you're setting goals or annual resolutions, things of that, the reason they don't happen is because you're stuck in the left brain. Okay. So really, really ponder that, write that down. And then of course we have three parts to our body mind. And this is, some of it's collective energy. This is not new age, guys. This is science meets spirituality meets reality. Our self-conscious, our ego, tries to resolve our beliefs. It's the overthinking, analytical mind. Oftentimes can be very busy. When I first started meditating, it was really hard for me to shut this off. That's the ego. The ego can be our friend, but if it's really, really wounded, if you've been rejected in sales, divorce, death, all of these different things, it can actually be working against you even more. Then there's the unconscious, also known as the subconscious. That's where 95% of our results and where we can be on autopilot. So if you look at your life right now, your health, your wealth, your business, sales, no matter what you do, until you work on these three minds and tap into the superconscious, which is what I forgot about for about 14 years, even though I taught this at the college level. Your superconscious is your intuition. So I want you to write down really quickly, because I know can sometimes be a sensitive topic. I want to let you guys know that I respect all belief systems, all faiths. This is not a religion conversation, but everyone has different words that work for you. So superconscious can be intuition. Superconscious wants you to live your best life, if that resonates. Superconscious is your heart's desires. Superconscious is your zone of genius. Superconscious can be your psychic abilities, talking about that earlier, your higher self, your magnet of truth, the divine, the God within. Again, whatever word works for you is beautiful and perfect. And I want you to own that, right? Don't use Lois's word. If superconscious doesn't work for you, use a different word. The main thing is I wasn't going inward. I had been stuck in that left brain, analytical mind, looking outside of myself for the results, the mentors, the coaches, the other people, right? So in summary, superconscious mind, before we're going to dive into the techniques that I want you to take away and test and use this coming week, is superconscious wants you to come from a place of true choice. What you desire. What are your purposes and passions in life? Not what your parents were, not what your coaches were, not what your neighbors or keeping up with the Joneses maybe indirectly said, oh, you should have that house, that car, the 2.2 kids, the white picket fence. None of that. What is your true choice? Taking aligned action that's in aligned with your heart, inspired from within, not from without. Releasing overcommitting. A lot of people, including myself, especially if you have not enough or not capable, needing to be perfect, a lot of that we tend to overcommit, people please, and don't have clear boundaries. Anybody in here, does that resonate with anyone? Does anyone struggle with healthy boundaries or not overcommitting? So we want you to be with the flow versus reacting. So you're in the flow. If something happens for you, you're kind of like, oh, I'm a tree, I'm a bamboo tree in the wind right now. Instead of pulling out the hammer, and freaking out and doing, you're being with. So again, coming from your heart and head connected and knowing that you are perfect, whole, and complete as you are right now. Accepting what is. A lot of times we've been taught we got to have it all perfect. We got to never let them see you sweat. We got to smile and put on a happy face, right? And that sounds good in theory, but I'm here to tell you, people don't want that anymore. That's what's happening as we shift into the age of Aquarius. And that beingness state is being you in that moment and loving and accepting what is. So in order to manifest your best health and wealth moving forward, you've got to be using both sides of your brain. So write that down. Write down, I got to be using my masculine side and my feminine. The doing is the masculine, the feminine is the being. And through that process, you're adding your creativity. I got back into singing, guys. I got back into drumming. I got back into music. I got back into fun, you know, the imagination, be a kid again, be a childlike kid, right? So being able to become super conscious, we're going to talk about that next. We're going to talk about how instead of pushing and doing, we're going to slow down, create space, and manifest our best health and our best wealth because we're now like a magnet and attracting it. So this image on the screen here, I created this back when I taught this college course in 2008 down here in Southern California. So if you want to draw this triangle on your paper, you can. You don't have to, because we're going to make a quick list, okay? We're going to make a quick list. So the mind, the body, and the spirit. I put that triangle there, also representing the ego, the subconscious, and the superconscious. Remember the mind, the monkey mind. How can we help? How can we support this ego? How can we support it? So just hold that question. How can we support it so it doesn't get in the way? So it doesn't hurt us. The body keeps the score. So that's why I put the subconscious there, because the subconscious is driven by our feelings and emotions. And I was overworking and over drinking to stuff down the emotions and the feelings in my body. I didn't think it was okay for them to come out and play. I didn't allow them space. I said, like the good girl that I was, I said, nope, I gotta fake it till I make it. I gotta just keep doing. That's physical, right? So what can you write on your list that we're gonna write shortly? What can you support the body with? For me, it was breath work. For me, it was reducing my alcohol intake. For me, it was movement. For me, it was also plant medicine and microdosing. Huge fan of that. Not for everyone. Again, you don't have to agree with everything I say or do. I'm just giving you options. Then last but not least is the spirit, the spiritual. Again, that can have many different meanings. What I'm talking about here is, again, that superconscious, that going within your intuition. You got to develop that muscle, because most of us have been told not to do that, or we forget. If you meditate, you pray, that's fantastic. But what is your daily practice? And I'm going to give you an exercise next that you could use that for your spirit, your superconscious. So what I want you to do, I'm going to give you the beginning of a minute. I know it's not very long. Again, I have a workshop in December where it will go longer. I've just started the timer. I want you to make a list. What do you love that can help support you in your daily practice? I'll talk about my Take 5 protocol in a second. That can support your mind. Could be meditation, could be focusing on changing your thoughts, working with that. Could be, if you do like affirmations, great, you could try that out. Could be a lot of things. So write that down. Body, what can you do for your body in the next 12 weeks? What can you do for your spirit? Go ahead and write those down on your list. This isn't a master class, but if you know me, I love to make sure you get something out of this and walk away with some action items. All right, so for better or for worse, we got to keep going. But type in the chat. I'd love to hear some of your list. What did you write down for your mental health? That could even be conversations with friends, just saying. Could be a fast from Facebook. Could be a lot of different things. Write down what you like to do along the lines of mind, body, spirit. So write that in the chat. Type in the chat. Let's share. I love sharing is caring. You learn so much from each other. You might get inspired by somebody else's list. Mental, physical, spiritual list. So now I call it the Take 5 protocol. This is huge. Just take 5 minutes a day. 5 times 3 is 15. If you want to, you can do 5 minutes in the mind, 5 minutes in the body, 5 minutes in the spirit. Commit to your list every day for 12 weeks. This is part of the 12-week year that I'm talking about still, and it's mission critical. You won't read about this in the book. This is me, but make sure you do this every day as part of your beingness plan, as part of your support, as a part of your fortification for when life gets a little tough, when you get hit with a curveball, when someone, maybe passes away. I've had a lot of clients who've had death, job loss, income cuts, all of this just in the past 2 weeks. This is how you can help develop more of that emotional intelligence and tap into that superconscious with ease. So do this first thing every day, or find the time that works for you. Maybe you're better at night. Maybe you're better in the middle of the day. Write it down. First thing in the morning, when are you committing to doing the 5 minutes mental, physical, spiritual protocol? Go ahead and write that down right now. Type it in the chat if you want. Again, I do read the chat later. And remember, what we resist persists. What we resist persists. We've got to look at what lies beneath that ego mind. This is where I was talking earlier, and I call it shadow work. Different people call it different things. Therapists were not working for me. Grief counselors were not working for me. I worked with spiritual mentors and different types of transformational healers to help me rediscover myself under the layers of judgment, doubt, and fear that I had self-imposed upon myself. That was holding me back from the health and the wealth and the balance and the freedom. I had a prison of my mind on autopilot that was keeping me going in a direction that did not serve me. So you can write these down, or you can take a screenshot, or like I said, if you stay till the end and after Q&A, I will gift you the slides, but you gotta stay to the end to figure out how I'm gonna do that. So the first step is we're gonna choose what you'd love to create. We're actually going to just do, we'll do 5 in 5 minutes, just letting you know. And Sandy, I know you're here. So Sandy, I'm just giving you kind of a warning. We're going to do this, and then I'm going to ask you to come on screen, Sandy. So just let me know you're here, type in the chat. So we're going to choose what you'd love to create. Create the tension with your current reality. Visualize the feeling of having it. Recoding the resistance in the body. This is a very brief exercise today. Normally I take 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to do it in less than 5. And then taking that aligned action and following through. So this can be also part of that 5 minutes you do for the spirit, the superconscious work, okay? So look on the screen right now, and really quickly, I want you to pick the number 1 that you want to create that fits with your bigger vision, that resonates with your spirit. Is it number 1, I choose the end result of health and vitality? Is that your number 1 focus? Choose the end result of living my true nature and purpose, which I really loved that one this year. Number 3, I choose the end result of living the life I love. Number 4, I choose the end result of being the predominant creator in my life. Go ahead and write it down. Thanks, Meg. Meg shared which one in the chat. Thank you, Don. If you want to type it in the chat, but write it down. I want you to hand write it really quickly. I'll give you a few more seconds to write it down, and then I'm going to go on. Just pick one. Just pick one. All right, so you have that written down, and it's really important to say, I choose. And this is not really an affirmation. This is an actualization statement. This is a manifestation statement. Okay, so that's what the difference. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10, you are there now, and 1, you're so far away you can't see it, smell it, taste it. Where do you stand? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10, you are already there. Write that number down. So again, I'll show this slide one more time. So write that number down. Just go with your gut. Share it in the chat. That's perfect. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Leanne, Cheryl. Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Don. And we're not going to fill into the tension right at the moment, but we are going to add it in to the mix here as we close our eyes. So last but not least, before we close our eyes, I want you to pick your top 1 from the list above, the not good enough, the not worthy, the I'm insignificant, I am not capable or allowed to have it. I need to be perfect. I don't belong. Because that's the resistance. That's the subconscious wounding. So go ahead, write it down. And then I'm going to have you close your eyes. A few more seconds. All right, so now I'm going to take us through. It might end up actually just being 4 minutes. It's going to be very quick. And you can always come back to the recording and do this again. So only if you're not driving, only if you're not driving, I want you to close your eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes. And I'm going to walk you through this exercise. That's a deep question. In the Q&A, Gina, I just happened to catch your question. Any questions you got to put in the Q&A feature. I won't be seeing them otherwise, most likely. I want to get to the visualization, and then we'll start wrapping it up here in a little bit. So go ahead, feet firmly planted on the floor. Go ahead, take a deep breath. Inhale, count 1, 2, belly expanding, 3, chest expanding, 4. Hold at the top, sip in a little bit more, and then exhale out loud with a sigh. What I want you to do is go ahead and put your left hand on your heart, and briefly, ever so briefly, I want you to think about that true choice that you chose, whether it was living the life you love, health and vitality, true nature and purpose, being the predominant creator. I want you to see yourself in the fullest expression of that. See yourself in the fullest expression. Who are you with? Where are you? What are you doing? Then what are you hearing? What are you smelling? What are you tasting? What are you feeling? See it, smell it, hear it, taste it, feel it in its fullest expression. I'm going to give you a few seconds of silence. Eyes closed, dropping into your heart. If you're having trouble with the visualization, think of the most exciting event in your life. Think about that and feel into that pinnacle moment of your life, whether it was when you got married, had a baby, any of those apply. Now, what I want you to do, hand still on your heart, I want you to think about that number, whether it was a 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, where you're at today, the current reality. Tune in also with that limiting belief, the not enough, the not worthy, the not capable, the need to be perfect, the insignificant, or feeling alone. What does that look like, smell like, taste like, feel like, sound like? See if anything like a memory bubbles up. Be open for anything, expecting nothing, just mentioning there may be something that bubbles up for you. I'm going to give you a few seconds of silence here. Don't be afraid. Don't be judgmental of yourself. Just notice. Be a witness of whatever comes up for you around that number. Then what I want you to do is I want you to imagine we're talking to your superconscious. I want you to imagine you're talking to your heart right now. With your hand on your heart, imagine a big ball of white crystalline light is coming from your hand and penetrating through your heart, down to your navel, all the way up to your throat chakra, down through the floor beneath you, all the way up to the heavens above, through your crown chakra. Just be surrounded and enveloped with this beautiful big white light. Feel it. Speaking to your superconscious, superconscious, see this resistance, this shadow, this not enoughness, this limiting belief, and I ask that you treat it perfectly. Bless and release that which no longer serves me, shining a light on it, loving it, sending love and compassion to yourself through your hand, maybe seeing that little inner child, sending love to your inner child, forgiveness, peace, joy, bliss. Just send whatever resonates with you inside of yourself. Continuing to breathe, knowing that what resists persists, loving that shadow, loving that resistance, loving that limiting belief, being seen, being heard. That's all it wants. Recognizing you are whole, perfect, and complete, just as you are. And the last thing I want you to ask your superconscious, your heart space, the divine within, your higher self, whatever resonates with you. What aligned action can I take in the next 24 hours that can help me achieve my goals and dreams? What aligned action can I take in the next 24 hours that can help me achieve my goals and dreams for my best health and my best wealth? See what bubbles up. Seeing that action, taking that action. If there wasn't an action, that's okay too. Sometimes the best action is inaction. Feeling that action completed in your mind's eye and your heart space, trusting you have the answer for that action. And go ahead and take another deep breath in. Inhale, count of 4 through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top, sip in a little bit more, and then release out loud with a sigh, knowing that you can actually do this exercise every day. Sandy, I'm going to come to you. Sandy, if you're ready, I'm going to come to you to have you come off of the attendee mode to panelist. So hopefully your camera is on. Beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. So how was that, guys? If you want to drop in the chat, we just have a few more slides. Then I'll open it up for Q&A. Actually, only have, a few more slides. It won't take long. I know it was really quick, but did anybody feel a shift? Did anybody feel a shift? Got a little stuck? Yeah, that's okay. If you have more time, if you can expand that into 10 to 15 minutes, that's what I would recommend. So Sandy Duncan, thank you so much for making time and space. You've done both the Superconscious work and the 12-week year work, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about how that's impacted you this year.
I'm sorry, I had to adjust my camera list a little bit and make sure I was on target. Well, for those of you who haven't done either of this is both the Superconscious. I had the privilege of being part of the beta group, and it was amazing. And I actually went through the second group after the beta. So, it's just these exercises and this spaciousness, as Lois calls it, has been tremendous. And it all ties into the work I'm doing with Lois also on the 12-week year. So it all meshes together. And as you take on those, you'll find that it's allowed me to manifest or draw into my superconscious some significant customers for the company that I'm working for, and it's allowed me to achieve this is my first year in a new position. It's allowed me to achieve some things that I don't believe would have been possible if I'd been on the traditional trajectory path. So, and Lois has been very instrumental. I can't encourage you enough to look into both of these. And this tying the superconscious to the 12 weeks will be amazing. It will be amazing.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy, so much. It's been such an honor to see you grow and change and to work with you. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being
It's
here.
been a pleasure to participate.
Awesome. Well, I'll send you back to attendee. I wanted to share another testimonial really quickly because some people are like, how do I see? We're so used to fast, instant results. The 12-week year is meant to be the J curve, right? You start and you're consistent for 12 weeks straight, and it's around day 66 that you see a massive shift if you're consistent. So that's why I gave you the mind, body, spirit protocol and this 5-minute exercise. All it takes is 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes a day, guys, to change your life. And depending on the person, results vary, right? This is Vanessa Lee, who's here. She's one of my psychic friends, a medium, a healer. She had a shift. She was struggling with taking action, which happens a lot for coaches and healers, I have discovered. And she was not committed to her daily income producing activities and business focus. And she was having some health stuff. And yet, in the first 72 hours, we did a superconscious alignment exercise, and she was able to take more action than ever. So the analysis paralysis disappeared, and she felt more trusting and at peace with her work routine. So just know that you can see results in the next 72 hours with this work. However, give it 12 weeks, 12 weeks of consistent effort. Just a few more slides, and then if you want to start putting your questions in the Q&A feature, once you have your daily practice in place, your daily commitment for your mind, body, spirit, your daily superconscious exercise, what do you do with the rest of your time? Since we're all given the same 24 hours in a day, and yet why do some create more in life than most? Well, structure and time use. I know balance is a little bit of a touchy word, so I'm going to say time use instead. There is no such thing as time management. It's choice management. Annualized thinking, New Year's resolution thinking doesn't work. The 12-week year is based on science. And I was an Ironman triathlete, and I've coached thousands and thousands of athletes and had 12 to 16-week plans all the time. The training plan was all about that. And there was things that those athletes had to give up to go all in. So think about that for your business, for your health, your wealth, your relationships. I lost 30 pounds this year, guys, without dieting. And it was because of my super conscious work and taking one 12-week year at a time. So write this down now, and this is going to be your homework. Okay, we're not going to do this here. And if you if you become a member, become a part of my community, we are going to have a workshop on this in December. So we're going to get your first Q1 or 12-week year of 2023 all on paper. Today we're just scratching the surface to get you guys prepared for that. Okay. So I want you to write this down. Pick 2 business goals and 1 to 2 personal goals and go all in for 12 weeks. Pick 2 business goals and 1 to 2 personal goals and go all in for 12 weeks. Most people overcommit. And here's the deal. If you have multiple streams of income and you're trying to build too many at once, you're chasing too many rabbits. For one 12-week year, you got to go all in. I've had clients double their income in one 12-week year just because they decluttered. They got rid of that which did not serve them, and it was temporary. It was temporary. Totally. They could go back to it because it's not a year, it's 12 weeks. So think about what your 2 business goals are and your 2 personal goals. Okay. This is a gal who applied this over a year. She also she trained it to her sales team, and I did some training with them. And she was able to fall in love with her daily plan, her income producing activities, and she just bought her first home thanks to increased income because of the 12-week year. The other question, and I have a tool, it's called the Daily Compass. I know Sandy uses it. A lot of my one-on-one clients use it. I use it every day. It goes along with Jim Rohn's question. Do you run your day or do you let your day run you? So I saw a question in the Q&A feature, and I'm starting to answer it now. The question was, she feels, or he, I don't know who, feels like they're doing and being in the purpose more, yet still not feel it's enough since I'm not able to see the results. So the answer to that would be, are you, first of all, have you been in your purpose and passion for 12 weeks? Have you decluttered? Have you gone all in on income producing activities if you have a sales career, or if it's health goals or whatever it is? Are you really all in, or are you still got too much on your plate? Is your day still running you? And you know that because you're exhausted at the end of the day, or you feel like you didn't get enough done. Those are two hints. Again, didn't get enough, not enough. We bite off more than we can chew. We overcommit, chasing too many things, and that's what causes us to not accomplish those. And we got to go all in for 12 weeks and take the things off our plate that do not matter right now. Nancy, why am I coming up blank with all your questions? I don't know your goals. That's typically probably because you haven't asked your brain these questions enough. Great question, actually. It can also be due to trauma and grief. I had that. That's why I chose to turn to plant medicine and microdosing, because I was too stuck in grief and pain and trauma. So I was too used to just letting other people tell me what to do. I couldn't see the forest for the trees. So that's the other thing to think about, is if that happens for any of you, if it's hard to visualize, it's another sign also potentially. I'm not the expert on all of the visualization pros and cons and what's possible and what's not possible. So really ask yourself before you say yes to that thing or that person or that whatever, ask, does this fit my vision? Does this fit my 12-week year? Or am I doing too much? Again, keyword there, doing too much. Check in with your calendar. Are you putting in those right side of the brain, the feminine side, the creative, the imagination? As kids, we had our imagination, we let it run wild. So, and yeah, if anybody has questions on microdosing or plant medicine, shoot me an email. I got so many great resources for you. And then of course, asking yourself if you have healthy boundaries. In other words, are you saying no with excellence? Are you knowing when to turn off your phone or your computer? Are you knowing when to be present and create that spaciousness for yourself? Because there's only really 2 to 4 hours productive in a day. Today I knew I had a webinar, so guess what? I had no sales calls. I had no networking get to know you calls. I prepared for this and saved my energy for it. I used to be back to back to back to back, no matter what. And then I was exhausted and I was good for nobody. So remember, progress over perfection. Go ahead and put more questions in the Q&A feature. I'm going to wrap it up here so you guys can figure out how you can get your slides. So what action will you take next? What action will you take next? Will you read the 12-week year? Will you read the You're Not Broken? Or, will you work on the mind, body, spirit, all of that stuff? Because inaction is the key here. If you attended this and you don't put anything I said in action, and maybe it didn't resonate with you, and that's beautiful. I respect that. You might already be experiencing a lot of shifts and experiencing your best health, your best wealth, your best relationships, your best, all of it, right? That's perfect. But I have to think that if you're here, there may be something that isn't in alignment, and it's due to inaction and not focusing on the superconscious and not focusing on the 12-week year and bridging the gap with those two things and having that accountability for it. Because if you're like me, money didn't buy me happiness. It bought me a lot of health challenges. It bought me a lot of depression and no vacation. And even though I did have increased income, it wasn't fun. So just think about that. Think about what the inaction will cost you. And so I do want to share with you my membership and subscription opportunities for you, because this shadow work and a lot of this can't be done alone. It can be slower, full of mistakes, expensive, and painful in the short term or the long term. You're going to feel like Bill Murray on Groundhog Day, and he had a lot of hard lessons. Although it was a funny movie, I didn't envy his learning curve. Or we can go at it together. It'll be much faster, less mistakes, much cheaper, and we're going to have a blast. I love having fun and reminding you that life can be sometimes taken too seriously, can be too stressful, right? But that's not what it's meant for. We're not human doings, we're human beings meant to live out loud, have fun, be filled with passion, and be sharing your truth, which cause really the number one answer is to go within to find that truth. So I'd like to say no one succeeds alone. If you feel like you're at a fork in the road, I'm going to encourage you to take it today. A Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise subscription currently is still only $77 a month. Only $77 a month. It's cheaper than most gym memberships. It's valued at $1,000 a month with 4 classes a month. You get a course inside of my member vault. There's also the Heal Your Relationship with Money challenge. There's going to be a Health and Vitality challenge coming up. And we also do some other classes inside of there. There will be a price increase in 2023. So those of you who already signed up, you'll be grandfathered in. And if you sign up today and stay through the subscription every month to heal your life, to tap into your superconscious with support, you'll be able to enjoy that low cost. And I got some big surprises for you guys inside of that. If you're in sales, you have a business and you're not where you want to be, I have a sales community membership that has a lot more. It's about $6,000 in value with 9 hours a month of live classes, lead generation and sales course, email list build course, speed networking, Facebook group, and more to come also for that group. That's $297 a month, month to month. And both of them you can cancel at any time. If you join, just so you know, upcoming events will be the Superconscious 2023 workshop. You've got to be a member. That's for the membership, the sales membership, in order to be a part of that, because we'll be doing sales goals. We're doing a lot of different things. 2 more Superconscious classes this month, 5-day health and vitality challenge in January. And I have had a lot of requests on trauma release because a lot of people who aren't tapping into their superconscious easily is usually because of trauma. And I can speak to that. That's going to be coming in January as well. So really helping you live your best health, your best wealth with a lot of tools. And also November is giving month. It's gratitude month. And so if you get a month membership, you can give one. So it's almost like if you had a partner, a business partner, you guys could actually technically split it and both of you could come in for the whole month of November. And that applies to both the subscription and the sales membership community. So if you have questions about that, let me know. And last but not least, if you become a member or a subscriber, you could save a life. I partnered with Mindology, Mental Wellness Center, mental health done differently. They are all about East meets West. They're all about suicide prevention. I know the founder, he's in Minnesota, Mark Van Her, and for every person that becomes a member or subscriber, I'm going to donate $10 to that cause to be able to help them be a lifeline. They have in-person and online. I'm actually their online component now to be able to help people know that they are not alone, help them shine their light, and to overcome addiction and all those kinds of things. So just know that your being a part of this is much bigger than yourself. So go ahead, put your questions in the chat. Is there any other questions before you guys go? Any questions? I'm going to also, before we drop off, I am going to drop in the chat the subscription. That's for people who, again, for the $77 a month, you can't beat that for the support you're going to get. And that's for someone who, if that's in your budget and that's good, perfect. I know the holidays are coming up, seasonal affective disorder. Holidays can be tough with family, or maybe you're not close to your family and you kind of feel like you're a little lost. I want to be your family. So I hope you guys can become a part of that. And then I just dropped the link in for the membership. If you are in sales, that's a great community. I want to grow, like I said, to 1,000 to help really change people's lives for the better. All right, in the dip, this is Samantha. In the dip within your 12-week upcline, yep. What is his suggestion in those dips? Hope that makes sense. So I'm not sure if if I know exactly what you mean, Samantha. So I just want to clarify. I may have you type in a little bit more. There's the 4 week, I think is what you're talking about. Because the first month, let me explain it this way. The first month, you're unpacking those self-sabotaging limiting beliefs. You're decluttering, right? You're getting rid of those habits. And so you're going up. And then there's a bit of a adaptation period. Okay. The second month is really the big turning point, because if you're consistent and work through the messiness, work through the struggle, work through the self-judgment, work through the whatever, you are absolutely going to have a radical shift, but you got to be consistent. So there could be a little dip because of that. You're changing the tactics a little bit. You're changing yourself, right? And then you go up again. And then there can be a little dip because it's 66 days to really cement the habits and to really be consistent. Then it goes J curve. So it's just like in training. When I was in marathon training, same exact thing. We'd have 3 weeks of real intense training, and then we'd have 1 week of kind of like a lighter week, because we knew our body was changing. Our body and our mind were wrestling with all of this work. All of this work. We had new eating plans. We were giving up alcohol. We were making sacrifices, right? Because again, the mind and the body can only do so much. So I hope that made sense, Samantha. That would be my answer. Yeah, 30 days, 21 days to make a habit. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just cutting it to you straight. That's not, yeah. Nope. You can take 21 days just to realize what your limiting beliefs and self-sabotage are all about. You know? Any other questions before we wrap it up? I know we've gone over. So no questions? Okay, so last but not least, type in the chat. Last thing before I tell you how to get the slides is, what is your biggest takeaway? What is your biggest takeaway? Or what are you going to take action on? Make sure you put questions in the Q&A feature. And I know Meg is here. Meg has had massive shifts. I'm running out of time, so I can't share her testimonial, but Meg had some massive shifts with this work. Anyone else? When to take action? Okay, cool. Feel free to type in the chat. What is your biggest takeaway? Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. Choice management and simplification. Awesome, Robin. Way to go, guys. Okay, so last but not least, in order to get the slides, and you'll need to email me if you already have done this, because there might be a couple of you who've already done this, okay? But I have a backup plan. So I want you to write a recommendation for me on LinkedIn before 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. So you've got less than 24 hours, but write me a recommendation on LinkedIn for this specific work, the Superconscious 12-week year work. If you do that, first of all, we got to be connected on LinkedIn. So make sure I'll drop in my my LinkedIn profile. So you guys, and if you have any questions about the membership, the community, I'm excited for those of you who are inside of it. There's so much going to happen in 2023. I'm just going to send a lot of love on you. You don't have to pay me $2,000 a month. You can be a part of this. It's going to be so huge. I'm super excited. Super excited. So that's my LinkedIn profile. First, you got to be connected to me and send me a message. So send me a message on LinkedIn. Now here's the backup plan. If you have already written me a recommendation on LinkedIn, and it's got to be done before when? 9 a.m. Oops, Alexa, stop. 9 a.m. tomorrow. It's got to be done before 9 a.m. Pacific time. Then you'll get the slides. So if you've already done that, if you already wrote me a recommendation on LinkedIn, write me a review on Facebook. And that's my landing page, or my my Facebook page. So go ahead and write me a review on Facebook, the Lois Kofi Enterprises page. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the membership community or the subscription? If you have any questions after this moment, I am going to end. You can email me at info@loiskofi.com. Email me at info@loiskofi.com. And remember, you spent this hour and 15 minutes with me. Pat yourself on the back. This was a great experience. I hope many of you had shifts. It's what you be next that matters. And then what you do after that. And the class times range all over the place. Harish, I did capture your question on that. They range all over the place. You also have access to the member vault. So that's where you have a lot of gold in order to slay that dragon. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys. Have a beautiful day. Be kind to yourself and others. And I look forward to your reviews on both LinkedIn and on Facebook. And this recording will be sent out within the next 24 hours as well. Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye-bye for now.